Welcome to the demonstration of drawing furniture within wireframes. Now, as of now, you all should have taken your wireframes out of SketchUp and put them into 3 separate files. So we have our perspective, we have our floor plan, and we have 2 elevations. So inside these blocks, we're going to draw our actual furniture. So what we need today to start off with is some pencils, your eraser, a straight edge, and a handy dandy measuring device. You will also need your sheet where you have your furniture and accessories, along with all of the dimensions that you are required to have. You would also need your analyzing furniture sheets. In this case, I have my sofa and my bed. They're all drawn up already, and one of my side tables. Alrighty, so those are the pieces that we need to keep close. So the next step after you print these out is you want to put them, set them up with a piece of tissue paper. So here I'm drawing with my perspective. So in this case, what I'm going to do, the first thing I'm going to do is draw this object, which is my side table next to my bed. And I need to have this sheet handy with all my proportions and dimensions on it. So this is a relatively square, and I've put in some little teasers to tell me what my proportions are. Now, remember that we're working with a perspective. So we have vanishing point right and vanishing point left. Now, they may occur inside of your drawing, or they may occur out of your drawing. But I know if I carry this line all the way across and the floor line all the way across like this, and I do the same on the other side, this wall will end up way out here where these two cross the horizon line. And remember, this is my horizon line between the sky and the ground. I can find my left, or I can at least know where it's at, my right vanishing point, by drawing from my biggest, and in this case, it's going to be within my sheet of paper. So it's right here is my vanishing point right. Vanishing point left is way over here, kind of off to the left side of the page. But I know that all my lines go in that direction. So the face, and that is this drawing right here, this face is this face on my perspective. So I want to proportionately break down my drawing. And I know that this is 27 inches high, and my base is about just above the third of my drawing, and I'm going to take that and take it back to vanishing point right. And my top drawer is just above that halfway point. Now I need to find the center, and the way I find the center of any rectangle is just to do Xing from corner to corner. That's my center line. And because my handles are all right down the middle, I know that's a vertical line. These other lines, as it wraps around, will go to vanishing point left. And what I want to do is try to use this line right here of the bed also goes to vanishing point left, and so does this line right here at the fight. So this goes to vanishing point left. So I want to find something halfway in between that, going back to the vanishing point. Alrighty, so here's my center line, here's my top, and I can use my straight edge on these. Once I get to my ink, so this top goes to vanishing point left and vanishing point left. So now let me draw my legs. And I have 2 legs here. They don't go quite up to the top. And I can tell from my drawing that they come in about 4 inches. So I can estimate my 4 inches, like that. Then the bottoms, I'm going to take that back because I am going to see these back legs. So I'm going to create the front now. And I know that my handles cross over my top. My handles cross over my top. And then they go back to vanishing point right and vanishing point right. Once again, the top vanishing point right, the bottom vanishing point right. Now let's finish our legs. And these legs are tucked up underneath. So now I'm going to draw on this face right here. I'm going to draw this view. That's my side view. And I'm going to draw it in perspective. I don't like this line very much, so I'm going to correct that just a little bit. That feels much better for me. So what I did is I took my front face and I took it to vanishing point left, and that gives me my sides of my leg and the side of this leg. So I'm going to see the 3-dimension of that. So this is the front and this is the side. And I need to do the same on the back leg that's going to vanishing point right. So it's important, and this is where we talked about in SketchUp leaving some of your guidelines in, because they go all to the vanishing point. So now I'm going to do the back leg, and it goes to vanishing point left. And remember, this line goes to vanishing point left. So I can just ease it right over, draw some depth. Here's where my back leg is. I think I might see a piece of that. So that's the side, and here's the back. Goes to the underneath side. And that's just about all the detail that I'm going to be able to see in this particular piece. So those are the parts and pieces of this particular cabinet. And my analysis helped me to break down those proportions. So let's try doing the bed. And I think I have the analysis of the bed. Here's the bed analysis sheet. And you can see I've drawn the top view, which will be very helpful when I do my floor plan, the front face, and the side face. So here's the front face, and here's the side face. Now, in my perspective, here is my base. So on my perspective, the top of the mattress, which is right here, is the top up here. All right, and I can see by my drawing that is approximately 24 inches. So half of that is about 12. And then about half of that again is how high my legs are. So I can draw the front face again. And I can go back to the vanishing point and back to vanishing point right. And then I can go vanishing point left. And remember, this line and this line go back to vanishing point left. So I want to pick something kind of in between that. And I can use see the line that I drew here? That was pretty accurate. I can use that to help me draw this one too. And if you don't get it right the first time, just try it again. That's not a problem. Sometimes you have to do it 3 or 4 times. Now, the back of my bed, my headboard, is going to come here, and it's going to come up. And it's here, and it's going to come up. Now, my headboard, here's the back of my square. My headboard is at 48 inches high. So if this is the corner of my bed, here to here is 24. Another 24 above that is the height of my headboard. So I know that the front face goes to vanishing point right, has a little bit of thickness, and then we have to write some depth on here. And this one kind of slopes out, so I'm going to go ahead and pull it out a little bit, and I'm just going to soften that It's very contemporary. So it kind of gets thicker at the bottom and leans back just a hair. So now if I look at the detail on my bed, I can see, and I've drawn it here, I've set back my mattress to my side rails about approximately 2 inches. So that means that I need to draw that depth, and it's going to be very, very small, so that I can set my mattress back that 2 inches. And see how small that is? But it'll make all the difference when I set back on my bed. So that's the new face, and that's the new side. And then it sets back on this side also, which means that my mattress corner is going to come over a little bit. Now my legs have a slight angle to them from the corner going to vanishing point right, and I won't be able to see the leg that's back here. Now I'm going to do the front. That's from that corner and that corner, and there's just a slight angle, and I'm just going to estimate that. You can see right here is the corner, and then I'm going to be able to see depth, the inside of that leg, and it's going to be at the same angle as I bring it over. So now I can see that my bed is made up of a number of parts and that sort of thing, so I can actually come in and start doing some of the softening. So let's just say, my headboard also has a fabric stripe across it. I didn't even notice. And that wraps around to vanishing point left, which is my depth. Now I can come in and you can see that I have some linens that are up on it, and they're tucked in here. So I can give it a little bit of poof and follow vanishing point right. And I want to take it over just ever so much. Give it some thickness. I'm going to soften the round part of my bed here. And then here's the rest of my little comforter. And it's sitting on top, so it's a little bit thicker. So now I'm going to come in and I'm just going to do some soft pillows. And I can put as many in as I want. But they're going to follow vanishing point right. And I can come in and take out all of my parts that don't fit in there. And I get, one of the things that's very, very handy is to keep a clean sheet of paper. And if we slide it right in between the tissue, I can now look, oh, see, I didn't put the sides here on my side table and my side table. There we go. So there's my bed. What do you think? We're pretty close. This line I don't like very much. So I'm just going to erase it. There, that feels much better. And now it actually looks softened a little bit. So I'm just bringing in some elements of thickness and proportion into my drawing. So I think we're pretty close. Let's try this. I don't need this line. I don't need in here. And you can see how my bed is just floating up and across. So I want to use my straight edge so that it's nice and clean and crisp. All right, so now I'm going to do one last thing, just as an example. I'm going to do the love seat. And here is how my analysis of the love seat turned out. Now in my drawing, the love seat is right here. So it's very, very small over there. And I want to be able to see it as clearly as possible. So sometimes as a tool, what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll just tape another piece, a smaller piece of tissue paper right over the top like that, just to hold it for a minute. And I'm going to come in and I'm just going to trace, and remember this goes from here to here and it goes vanishing point left. and vanishing point left. Then it goes to vanishing point right. And the back side of the cube. And I'm going to just draw right over this like I can see right through it. And I always do that so that I know where all the parts and pieces are. So what I've done, now I'm going to go to vanishing point right. And remember the bottom of this chair, I'm sorry, the bottom, not of this chair because I have it turned. The bottom of the sofa, the side of the sofa, all go to vanishing point left. So I can kind of line this up here and then use that as kind of a guide. And so I end up with my wireframe. And so I don't get confused by all the other lines. Now I've isolated that. So now I know that my love seat is 60 inches. So if I find the halfway point here, and remember it's being affected by foreshortening. So here is my midpoint. That means half of this is 30 and the other half is 30. And I've estimated here that my arm is approximately 7 inches. So if that is 30 inches, that's 15 inches, and that's about 9 inches. So 9 inches is pretty darn close. So again, half is 15, half again is 9. So you can see that it's a little bit larger on both sides. Now I know that my seat, or my cushion, is at 18 inches. And since I've already put in the midpoint, I know that's halfway between the top and the bottom. And then my legs are about 3/4 of an inch down from there. So basically, that's kind of what my love seat is going to look like. It's going to come across the back, the arm, vanishing point left, vanishing point left. You can see they're very, very skinny and just a little teeny across the back. All right, so my seat, when I hit my seat cushion, it's going to go back to vanishing point left. And here is the back corner, and I'm not going to see it past that. So now I can work on my legs. So again, vanishing point left, estimating this line, goes to vanishing point left, and I kind of aim towards there, and I'm going to drop that in there. Now in this case, my legs sit back under. They sit back under, and they're about the thickness, and they're rounded, so they won't have a side, but they don't come off of the corner. They sit back off the corner, and they just tuck right in there. And the other one is recessed in here, just like that. I also have another detail, and there is a panel of wood that's on both sides. So now that I've kind of eased that in, you can see how teeny tiny it is. I don't have a front face here. And it's relatively crisp. I can add a little bit of cushion. Oop, I do see. See, I wasn't looking well. See how this panel comes across here? It splits it. It's not all one. So it's about halfway in between there. And that goes to vanishing point left, and it's inside the panel. So this is actually my cushion right here, and I can kind of soften that a little bit. And then my arms don't go past this point here, as the style comes out to here and it comes out to here. So my arms stop right there. And then these cushions are just softly rounded and softly rounded all the way across. And that's that side cushion. And basically, that is what my sofa is going to look like. Now, I have things in front of my sofa, like my bed. So what I do is I can pull this right up, and I can have multiple layers underneath here. But when I'm ready, I can come in and I can just slide it right underneath. Take off my tape. Take off my taped corners, like that. And now I can slide my sofa and line it right up with the footprint. And I can actually draw the pieces that I will be able to see now. So I can just leave that. I can actually tape it in if I'm afraid that it's going to move on me. But that piece is 100% done. Now where we're going to go from here, once we have all this penciled in, and let me go over a few things here. So here is the actual corner, the inside corner of my room. We're not going to see the thickness of the wall. This isn't a section, it's a perspective. So I don't draw this piece. And I can come over here, and I know this ceiling line goes to vanishing point right or left. I can bring it up. This one goes to vanishing point right. Pull that up. And I can draw my floor line in here because it comes from vanishing point left and vanishing point right. So that is kind of what my room context is going to be. And you can make this, you can cut it off. I try not to cut things off too much, and I certainly don't cut them off square. This is the corner of the room. And remember, we're going to have lots of details in here that we still have to add in. So I'm going to go ahead and put my baseboard in here so you can see how that kind of looks. And in this case, my baseboard is going to be relatively low, has a little bit of thickness to it, comes out and comes down. So that's my baseboard, so I want to make sure that I continue that over here when I get my other chairs and my other pieces in. So you can see kind of how that all starts to pull together and get complete. Our next step, once we get this all drawn in, is to come back and freehand off over the top of it with our pens. And that will be our next video. So remember that you need to have your 3 printed sheets, overlay. Here is my floor plan. And let me do really quickly while I'm here, let me show you what my bed would look like in plan. I'll pull up that analysis sheet again so you can see what it looks like. And remember, this is what my floor plan, what it looks like in plan. So I can just draw that piece in. I can see just across the top. I can see where it slides down, the thickness of the back. There is my corner. That's my mattress inset. My corner, my mattress inset. So you'll actually want to draw your particular bed. I'm going to add my pillows in here. Again, we're looking down at them, so we're not going to see a whole lot of thickness in here. Didn't get quite down the middle there. And then I do have my coverlet that is rolled over, and it extends just a little bit beyond. It's a little wider because there's more fabric there. So I can put that in there. And that kind of looks like this. And I'll do, oops, I didn't put my bottom piece on here. I have a little bit more erasing to do. But that's what my bed looks like the one that I selected, looks like in plan view. And again, I just want to do this in pencil, and then we'll come back and do all of our line weights. So you'll do this for your perspective. You'll do it for your floor plan. So perspective, floor plan, and both of your elevations. Alrighty. Next phase, we'll talk about line weights in perspective. Thank you very much.